everybody. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to the channel. For those of you that are new here, those of you returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a box opening of Panzer, and this is actually the third expansion. This is the game of small unit action and combined arms operations for the drive to the Rhine, the second front. And it spans 1944 to 1945. James M. Day is the game designer here. GMT Games, and this one was put out in 2021. Now, if you check out my other videos on box openings, you'll see that I started with Panzer, then Panzer expansion number 4, which is the French expansion, and then here's number 3. So it seems like I'm working backwards from the expansions, but that's sort of the way that I'm doing it. So let's check the back of the box. This is about 1.5 inch box. Standard size box. It's a hefty box. You can tell there's a lot of weight going on in here. But on the back here, we have our tank cards here, which give us all of our attack and defense tables. And it says, of course, in order to play that, you must have the ownership of the Panzer game, which is what we do. And this is expansion number 1, or number 2 is not required. This is the third expansion. So no other expansion is required. All you need is the first game to do this. So this is the Western Front, where the US and British forces drive the beleaguered German units across Western Europe and into the very heart of Germany. And this is where you start to have American units. Now, if you look at my box opening for number 4, we have commanders that we can actually use in this game here, if we use those rules. So sample counter and map here, and we have a sample of the map and the counters here. And the Panzer games are known for their extra large units here, which I think are inch, if I'm not mistaken, maybe an inch and a little larger than that, but we'll find out here in a minute once we open this up. So we have one reference and scenario book. We have 65 two-sided unit data cards, so that these cards here, we have 65 of them. 5 full color counter sheets. 1 TO and E book, giving us all of our units and what they have. 4 10 by 27 inch geomorphic map boards with 1 index hex. 8 map boards all total. So we have 8 new map boards to incorporate in with our other games and with this game. Units are individual tanks, vehicles, tow guns, and aircraft, infantry squads, half squads, and sections. The time each game turn is 1 hour. It's for 2 players or more, it says here. I will probably be trying to do it solitaire at first. The map is 100 meters per hex. And again, the game designer is James M. Day. And let's see. Over here we have our game counter. Complexity is at a 6 in the medium, the high end of the medium scale. Solitaire suitability is 6, also the high end of the medium scale. So let's open it up. This is GMT's thicker boxes here. So you can always tell by how tough they are to open up, but yeah, it's a much thicker box here. And the first thing we have is our 4 different map boards here. And we'll come back and look at them here in a minute, but right now we'll just set them off to the side here. And well, we have our counters on top, so we'll go ahead and start out with them. So just to make sure I'm not lying to you, let's see, let's move that to inches. And let's see just how big these are. So actually, it's 8.95. So these are 7/8 inch counters here, are what all of these counters are. And these are the German tanks. So this is 1 of 5, the front side of the Germans tanks. And if it's like the other games, we have different tanks on the back side, which we do. Let's see. PZV, PZ5 Panther, and then we have PZ3N. So we do have different tanks on front and back. So here's our German tanks here. And I'll try and get you some close-up shots of these two so that you can take a look at them, but a lot of counters in this game. And this is our British tanks and aircraft here. And again, this is counter sheet number 2 right there. And now here comes our American counters, which I believe this is the first one to have American counters, if I'm not mistaken, in the expansion, but I could be wrong. I don't have 1 and 2, which seems logical, but I don't have those. But here's the back side of that. And yeah, we got a P-47D there. So we have 1 and a P-38 here for the aircraft for the Americans. All right. And then here we have a combination of German, British, and American. Looks like some tanks, some guns, and let's see, some tow guns, and that's about it, some trucks and vehicles on this one here. And this final one has our game markers here, our turrets, for that if you use that rule, that advanced rule. We also have our squads, half squads. Looks like a machine gun unit there. We have German, British, and American. Not too many German, some barbed wire there. Let's see what the back shows. The back breaks them down into smaller units here. And command, rubble. So those are our 5 counters for Panzer Expansion 3. Now we come on to our rule books here. Oh, this is the TONE booklet. And here's our rule book here, which we will come back and look at here in a sec. We'll get to the bottom. And then here are all of our cards for our unit cards here. And if you've seen other, which I'm sure you have, other Panzer games, you'll recognize these cards right away. And they're thick cardboard. Over half the box is just these cards. Let's see. Let's go here. There's no die in this one at all, just these cards. And you see that we have a lot of cards here. These are all the Germans. The German vehicles here in this stack. We have another stack of German vehicles, and then we get halfway down, maybe a little further than halfway down. Yeah, then we start getting into American vehicles here, and that stack. And this stack here has a lot of American tanks, tow guns, vehicles. Then we get into British. Let's see. British is about a quarter of that stack. And then finally we get into some more British tow guns, vehicles, and tanks. These are all seem to be British. This side too. So a lot of data sheets in this particular expansion. So we'll put all these back in here. And I do like the spacer. The spacer is nice. That keeps us a nice flat area here, making it easy, although not sure how you're going to fit all those counters back in here with the rule books, but we'll see what we can do. So here's our playbook, and we come on that and we see that there's introductions, historical notes, special units here. It talks about the special units. Mortar and vehicle battalions. Determine initiative. These are all scenarios. And bocage country, artillery and airburst, dismount. So it looks like there are some additional rules, but not a complete rule book. So most of this is going to be coming from your first rule book. This talks about the different units, formations. This might be more history than it is actual rules. I'll have to read through that and see exactly what is included in these. Gliders. hard to believe one would get up in those things. And then we start to get into our different scenarios here. So this is mainly an expansion with just scenarios and some unique pieces, but almost all the rules are going to come from the Panzer first edition. So that's going to be nice because you can probably jump right into this game, set up a scenario, and play it. And as you can tell by the way I'm talking, I haven't yet played mine, so I need to start doing this because I almost have the complete set here. I still need 1 and 2, but I'll eventually get those. Hopefully before they get out of stock on P500. Nobody wants that. So landing, paratroop scatter, spot removal, and German unit summary here. And let's see. United States unit summary chart, British unit summary chart. So yeah, there's nothing. This is really a very true expansion where you just buy these parts, get these pieces and these maps, and are able to play scenarios using the rules that you already are well familiar with. Not learning anything new for these. And this is generally just your organization and your different units. And a lot of information in here if one is so inclined to delve in and go through it, which eventually I will have time to do that. And that's your TO&E booklet, expansion number 3, Drive to the Rhine, the second front. And finally we get down to our maps here, which of course you can see there. So here's map number 16, and we can see the different pretty wide open terrain, but we do have some hills and towns here, some forest orchards, another town, and we even have names on all these towns. Look at that. So this looks like an interesting map to play on. So this is number 20, map number 20 there. And let's see, trying to get it all in the frame there so you can see it all. So that's 2 of the 8 maps. Map number 15, this has a lot of blocking terrain here. Look at that, they have marshes. Little town, some roads there, so it looks like it's kind of one you can get off here, but it looks like you're going to be blocking line of sight. Everything is flat here. There doesn't seem to be any elevation in any parts of this. Over on this side we have some lakes and rivers coming through, roads, and then some hills over here, some elevation here. Another little town on this side. Forest, marshes, orchards it looks like. So that's number 19. And here's our number 14. And this is mainly town or city. So a lot of close combat here, a lot of blocking terrain on this one also. This is pretty wide open here, some hills, a little bit of hill. I'm assuming this brown is elevation. This might not be. I should actually read up before I shoot my mouth off thinking I know, but we do. Definitely a train coming through there, some train tracks. Map number 18, and this is definitely an elevation right there. Lake, and pretty much countryside, one little town there. Map number 18 and 14. And our last map to look at is number 17, and again we have some blocking terrain, pretty level ground. This looks like it's some elevation going on over here, and we have a lot of blocking terrain. So a lot of hide and seek, it looks like, when you open up this particular expansion of Panzer. That's good. All right, so the bulk of this expansion, definitely these cards. And of course, 5 sheets of counters, which is, you know, that's pretty much what we as gamers look for, are nice looking maps and lots of counters. And in this we have lots of counters, some nice looking maps, explanation on the different units that are in there and how they are organized. And then we have our playbook, which is the expansion, which this game seems like it'd be relatively easy to get right into once you understand the core set of rules on Panzer. So that's kind of nice on that. On the France 1940, there's a lot of additional rules, and there's a lot more additional rules for the solitaire play. But in this one, strictly jump right in and play. So that was my box opening of Panzer Expansion 3, the second front, Drive to the Rhine. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I will be getting these on the table sometime, I don't know, soon, but definitely going to be having to break that out. I really want to start learning this game because I do love Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader back in the day. And this is likely offshoot that I'm going to enjoy just as much. Anyway, thanks for watching the box opening, and hopefully you'll be around for my next video. Take care.